Good evening, ladies, gentlefers, and my lovely envies. We are here live for another Sports Den here in Las Vegas at Fairmont Palace. My name is Marcus Baylor, and to my right is Ryan Eastman. How are you doing, dude?
Doing excellent, Marcus. Glad to be here back in Vegas. We were here just a couple months ago. It doesn't seem that long ago as Vegas was battling for that championship trophy and they just fell so close to getting it, but fell short in the
Mhm.
end. And I'm excited to be back here and see what this team can do once again on a sports den.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, with the fact that even with the heart-crushing loss in the way that they did not take off the gas pedal here as they have been on fire in the early goings of this season, only losing 3 games overall in the start of this season.
No doubt they've retooled. We'll talk about some of the changes they made once we get into the game, but they are not a team that's looking to be known as the bridesmaid. They want to be the one going down the aisle, uh, and they're gonna do everything they can to lift the trophy at the end of this season.
Yeah, and looking at the other side, you can't really say the same here for Edmonton as they did at least make the playoffs last year. This time it's not looking to be a very rough start here as it's kind of been flippy floppy in the beginning of the season, and they haven't been able to get their first road win yet. And they're gonna be asked a tall task going up against a juggernaut like the Wild Cards. Yep, here we go with the Wild Cards in the white and the Excavators in the dark red as we tip things off as Marcus Baylor is able to win the tip off.
And
So yeah,
keep
that's
an
right.
eye on Marcus down low in the post this game. I mean, obviously him paired up with Robbins, but matching up against Nikolai Volkov and Xavier Clark, it's gonna be a battle for the post. I feel like as we see the first foul getting drawn
Mm.
by Lopez.
Yep, here Lopez fouling Roy Greer here as the first point will be good there for Vegas, and that is going to be certainly a thing. I mean, uh, there's a lot with me and seeing, you know, my brother Bobby being the coach for the Excavators. Meanwhile, his son kind of doing it out as a player. So it's just going to be interesting how knowing like what kind of strategy they're going to input against each other at this point. But right now, Edmonton looking to possibly get their first points of the game. And we see a quick foul there on Buckley, and it'll be a charging foul. So that'll be an unforced turnover there for the Excavators. So Vegas will get the ball back. Not a great start if you're an Excavators fan.
Yeah, and obviously the first point scored by Vegas coming from Jean Ferdinand. The acquisition, they made a trade, trading for Lindsey Morrison to the Tennessee Moonshiners for the Scottish Fold. Bringing in someone a little
Mm-hmm.
younger, a bit more, I would say, long-term possible successes. Baylor gets the
Oh,
second bucket to fall. 4 points here early for Vegas.
yeah, Brandon, go ahead and try and attack very early into the paint. That's going to be something to look into in the early going, as you said before. But right now, Vegas in full control right now. We'll see if the Excavators find a way to answer back as Vegas has full control.
Well, I mean, it doesn't help when your first possession gets cut short by a foul.
Yeah, for sure. And that basket's not going to be good there. Brandon with the rebound. And now Murphy trying to look into the paint as Curry goes into the paint, trying to go for the layup, but it gets blocked there. It's a great defensive effort as Cooper does get the rebound. And we get a quick pass over to Baxter. Pass it over to Clark, and Xavier is able to lay it up and in. That battle's going to be very interesting as it goes on. And Xavier scores the first points for Edmonton.
Well, it's going to be a battle of styles. I think Xavier Clark, relatively same size as Brandon, but, gives up 100 pounds easily, is more of a finesse center down low in the post.
Yeah, and right now another good defensive stop there for the Excavators as they do get the ball back. Cooper trying to find a way into the bank as Zach might be looking to dish out here as the defense is collapsed on him. But instead, finally passes over to Xavier. Xavier tries to lay it up, but gets blocked. But Doyle gets called for the foul. So we will see Xavier go on the line for 2 more free throws, hoping to tie things up. The first one is going to be good here. So far in the early goings of this game, couple of good baskets in the paint and a couple of fouls on each side to perhaps maybe tie this up. And that is going to be the case here. So right now, as you said, it seems to be like who is going to be the one to take control of the paint the most is going to end up winning this game, as both teams are built quite similarly.
Uh, I would say so. I mean, there's a little bit, I think, more of a question on Edmonton's point guard side. You know, Fiora Lopez uh, may be the future for this team. You know, last year on her rookie contract, interesting to see if they decide to stay with her going forward. They obviously re-signed Raymond Lee for another 2 years as well. But, you know, in terms of being a star point guard, I feel like Vegas definitely has the advantage in that area with the acquisition of Jean Ferdinand.
Yeah, that is certainly the case. As right now we get a quick layup here for Vegas, and that's going to be good. So they will get the lead right back up to 6-4 as we're under 9 minutes in the opening quarter.
And I really want to see Cooper step it up. You know, a player that was in MVP discussions in his very early portion of his career, but, you know, at times has disappeared from the team.
Yeah, it certainly has been awfully quiet when it comes to the guards in that predicament. And, you know, with him being able to get that hefty contract that he did in when he got into free agency for the first time, it's Roy Creer is able to get the next points as Vegas is up by 4. He's going to have to try and be that established leader coming into this and try to get the Excavators into a better position of winning these games. And right now we get to see Brandon Baylor getting a quick block there. And now Murphy trying to lay it up, and it's not going to be good though, as Cooper is able to go ahead and bring it in. Enough. And now Lopez ends up getting stolen there from Brandon. And right now, Vegas is now starting to take full-on control as Edmonton has got a lot of empty possessions in their paws.
Yeah, you can't have those stats, you know, building up in terms of all those turnovers. See a good screen there. Defense, though, not allowing anything to go up unguarded, but still bucket made. LVG starting to pull away here a bit.
Yeah, Warren Doyle, longtime vet, very valuable starter here as Edmonton will call a timeout as they are down by 6 after this onslaught of offense here from Vegas. What do you think the options are here for Edmonton to try and adapt to the situation that they're in?
Well, I mean, it's so early, just keeping better control of the ball. You know, they're losing stuff unnecessarily, coming away with the empty possessions. And I kind of want to go back to, you know, talking about what they're going to go forward with the point guard position. You know, I feel like that might be where some of Zach Cooper's struggles have come, is that he doesn't really have a guard leading the way. You know, he's not much of a dribbler. He's not able to create his own separation as well as some players in the league. As you see a foul coming from Robinson and Xavier Clark back to the line for 2. So, you know, he's more of an off-ball kind of shooting guard, small forward. So if you don't have, you know, that point man, point woman leading the way, making those spots for you, it's really hard for some players like that to get deep impact in the game.
Yeah, I can agree. I can attest to that, and that's something that they're hoping to get with either Lopez, as the first basket for Xavier Clark does go in. But of course, you know, with her being in her second year, you're hoping that she's going to take some strides in the early going, especially this is being her contract year.
No doubt. I mean, again, a player coming into the league trying to adapt, you know, that's a lot of pressure to put on them to begin with, but also to say, hey, you know, we need you to also be generating space for these other players. That's not a light load for a rookie to shoulder.
Yeah, for sure. And now we get a missed basket there for Vegas as Xavier Clark once again with another board. And we'll see if Fiorella tries to go into the paint, but gets fouled there by Baylor. And that will be his first personal of the night.
Well, that just brings some flashbacks I want to talk about. You know, Brandon in the offseason, I mean, his season ended with foul trouble in the finals that, you know, probably cost his time on the floor, obviously, as he had to sit out multiple times in the finals. You know, what we're gonna see this season with him in terms of his foul control. And a little bit
Ooh.
of a mistimed pass there. Is Jean Ferdinand thought a player was gonna be there, and it just goes straight to the fans.
Yeah, and that a little bit of miscommunication there, but it does happen at times. That's probably the first big mistake here from Vegas, but I'm sure they'll be able to clean this up really quickly. And to your point, when it comes to Brandon, he was definitely not happy after talking with him after the finals for sure. But at the end of it, he understands that like for him to be able to utilize his skills, he has to stay on the court. So he has to do what he can to clean up, and he's done a very good job in the early goings of this game, only having one foul within like 7 minutes left of the first quarter. That's a pretty good start there, but obviously he has to continue to try and keep it clean here as it does go get for the screen, but to no avail. And now Zachary looking to possibly get into the paint, but decides against it to hand it over to Fiorella. Doing a little bit of a reset here with 10 seconds left of the shot clock. And now Zachary hands it over to Fiorella, and that is going to be wide open, but it's in and out.
Yeah, the double screen to get Cooper open is a threat from beyond the arc, but it just left Lopez so wide open. She has to hit those. That is her range. And Jean Ferdinand stepping back out of bounds, losing a little bit of place. And we're going to see some subs for both teams here as the starters are going to get a chance to catch their breath. And looking at the bench for both teams, you have to wonder, there's been some change in terms of Vegas swapping in some new players. They acquired the Blue Jay Atheos from Seattle. Brad Pullman being signed from the depths of restricted free agency is back on an FBA team for the first time in a couple seasons.
Yeah, and I think it just goes into the fact that like Las Vegas understand this is more of a retooling, and plus also trying to get a little bit more depth in the big for position as well with Brad Pullman. As we get to see a quick shot there from Langodikis. I hope I'm saying that right.
I call him Atheos for a reason.
Yeah.
And obviously in the draft they went after Kyron, bringing in the Irish Wolfhound also as a forward. A little bit on the shorter side, 6'6", more of the small forward position. But, again, like you said, they definitely attacked that forward position to bring a little bit more depth. St. Martin's still obviously on the team as backup for Robin should she go out.
Yeah, for sure. And then looking over Edmonton when it comes to Edmonton's bench, they kind of did a pretty big overhaul over the season. A lot of new faces coming off the bench here, like Dabrowski. Dabrowski going over for a mid-ranger, and it is going to rattle home this time as Edmonton trying to look to see if they can try and solve some of their woes with a little bit of depth, but it has been a slow start for them this season. But right now, Edmonton's doing a pretty good job trying to stay tit for tat here. As I say that, of course, O'Reilly is able to go ahead and get the quick basket to give Las Vegas back the lead as they're up by 1.
Well, speaking of the rookie coming in and taking the lead back, I was going to mention, I think that's Edmonton's first lead of this game, really, but they immediately lose it.
Hey, but that's something they got to do. Try to keep pace with the wild cards here as Edmonton does get the lead back with that basket. And just trying to make sure to keep the crowd on its toes a little bit, because we all know Vegas can get pretty wild here. At home here as we get a quick foul.
Yeah,
and then
I'll say Atheos had a huge lane to the basket. The Blue Jay was going to make quite an easy bucket if they didn't foul. Great screen work, and I think both teams have made some subs, probably getting their starters finally a chance to get some full rest as the quarter is starting to get close to the conclusion.
Yep, and both free throws are going to be good there for Atheos. So Vegas back up by 1 once again, 16-15, with just about 3 minutes left in the opening quarter. We'll see how the Excavators respond here as Dabrowski hands it off. And right now, a lot of passing along the perimeter as Miyuki has it this time. And now we're passing over to Ralston. Ralston laying it up, but it gets blocked there as Vegas is able to hold there. And now looking to attack to try and extend that lead up to possibly 3. as we get a quick pass over to O'Reilly, and O'Reilly does lay it up and in. So right now, great start here for the rookie as Vegas is now up by 3 points.
Yeah, back-to-back plays from the rookie down low in the post. Good job attacking the paint. And on the other end, Ralston going to get dished beautifully there. Got a good lane to the basket around her defender, and it was wide open. I mean, anyone could have hit that layup. When there's no help defense coming in to even put a body between you and the basket.
Yeah, for sure. Let's get a quick layup, and it's not going to be good, but O'Reilly will go on the line for 2 here. First one's going to be good. And now we are going to see some more substitutions as O'Reilly does make the second. So right now, Vegas still having a little bit of a cushion, the slightest of cushions, but a cushion nonetheless. We'll see if the Excavators are able to go ahead and at least tie it maybe, or bring it down to 1.
Well, considering how the game started with multiple empty possessions resulting in Vegas building a bit of a lead, I'm not too worried right now, but obviously we want Edmonton not to find themselves in a significant deficit because it's going to be very difficult to pull anything back if they start seeing themselves down by double digits here.
Yeah, that's the one thing that they do not want to be. They want to keep it close so that way they don't get a rowdy crowd to kind of drown them out of the noise, as that one's not going to be good there for Vegas. So once again, the Expator has a chance to possibly cut this down to 1 or perhaps tie it.
Again, Vegas right now is not looking at, okay, we need to make the playoffs. They are looking at, we need to make it back to the championship. They are looking very far beyond what Edmonton, I think, is looking at right now. Edmonton's looking at, okay, can we have another playoff appearance, show that what we're working on is working. Vegas is, okay, when are we making it back to the finals?
Yeah, that just pretty much kind of goes as to the situation is, as Vegas is trying to look at situations of making it back to the championship, as the second free throw is missed. And right now, we do get a quick mid-ranger, and that's going to be good from the rookie, as now Vegas is up by 4 this time.
I say O'Reilly's coming quite close to 10 points already in the first quarter, and he hasn't even been on the floor that long. The Irish Wolfhound showing off. On the other end, a finger roll is the way to go, keeping back. And again, field goal percentage is definitely not favoring Edmonton, but they got more trips to the free throw line thus far, I feel like, to keep it close.
Yeah, for sure. I think Edmonton being able to draw those fouls has kind of kept them into this, as St. Martin, along the three-point line, hands it over to the Brook. Atheist taking his sweet time here. Got to do something with it. Goes for a mid-ranger, and it's going to be good. Right as the shot clock was about to hit 0 here.
So for speculation, Atheos is not a rookie. O'Reilly's the rookie.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, Atheos. Now I will say it's Atheos' first year on Vegas, coming from Seattle.
Yeah.
Hard to keep track when they have similar hairstyles. Clearly, Blue Jay
for real.
And, Irish Wolfhound. Screenplay.
Yeah, right now Vegas.
Open shot, no good though.
Yep, and now Vegas up by 2 here, 24-22, as we end the first quarter. Right now, Edmonton doing a very good job trying to stay into it, but I think that's more so because of the case that they've been able to, draw fouls, but they have to play a lot more cleaner basketball if they want to be able to stay into this one to get a shot at beating the Wildcards.
Yeah, they need to pull their field goal percentage up. Vegas right now is shooting about 50%, and that's where you want to be as a team. Shooting in the low 40s is not going to have things go your way unless you're hitting a lot of threes. If this is a three-point team, I say that Buckley hits his second.
Ooh.
I mean, if you're shooting 40% from threes all day, go for it. But, that's only the second we've seen them put up here, as both teams have a fair few starters back in now.
Yeah, and back to Buckley going with that 3, giving the lead over to the Excavators, as Fletcher is not going to count. They're not going to count the basket because it was an offensive 3-second violation. So it will be going back over to the Excavators, as they do catch a little bit of a break and perhaps possibly extend their lead for the first time.
I mean, the first opportunity, and they have a good shot. And Cooper off the double screen from beyond the arc, no good. a little. No, I would have liked to see him set up a little bit more for taking that shot. And Doyle's going to answer back with a fast break on the other end immediately.
Yeah, Roy and Doyle taking sweet advantage of the missed three and just bolting over to the other side to go for that quick lay-in. And right now, Zachary trying to answer back as well, but that shot's going to be in and out. And that's not really something you really want to see. While, yes, trying to be assertive offensively, try to get your team to try and go tit for tat with you. If the shot's not going down, definitely looking for other players to possibly get the team back into their offensive strides as we get another basket up in the paint. As we do see, a lot of the Beast lead has been Vegas at 6, but it has still been pretty tight between both of these teams.
And now you hear the defense chiming in. Oh, huge block there. Double block by St. Martin.
Another block.
Padding his stats
St. Martin
there.
having a little bit of a block. Yeah, St. Martin with the block party getting into it. And now Vegas has a chance to extend this lead up to 5. Perhaps even tying up the largest lead with a 3. Because right now St. Martin has to do something with it. Hands it over to Pullman. Pullman with a very tough 3. That is not his range. But Fletcher is able to get the rebound, but it's no good here as Baxter does get the rebound. And now Kincaid looking to go stride for stride. Laying it up. No good, though. And Roy Creer is able to get the rebound. And Vegas is looking to probably try and extend this lead again.
Yeah, Jean Ferdinand giving it to Pullman. Oh, great move from the vet there, but not able to get it to fall. And, you know, Buckley, I want to see him keep shooting those threes if he's feeling hot. He's made 2 thus far. I feel like they could keep going back to him until he starts to cool off.
Yeah, for sure. And right now, you know, as Clark going for a rare mid-ranger, but it's not going to be good this time.
I mean, he was so open. I don't blame him for going for that, but you're right. Pushing his range abilities there as Cooper not able to get the defensive stop on the other end.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and now Vegas does bring their lead up to 5, but that's going to get cut down real quick with the quick finger roll as we cut it back down to 3. Like I said, the Excavators doing what they can to stay in this.
Well, great hesitation move from Kincaid, you know, completely fooled the defender, making them think she was going to roll right and just kept going forward after the fake. And, you know, young player getting a good move in transition. Good stop there from Edmonton.
Yeah, Edmonton doing a really good job trying to keep that defensive pressure on within the paint. And now they do have to take advantage of that in the other side as we get a nice little juke there.
Well, the Cal's not going to
be.
I'd say the Cal's not going to get called for a charge there, surprisingly. But, you know, defense tried to sell it. Refs weren't buying it.
Yep, and now Vegas will call their first timeout of the game as Edmonton is just only a hair behind them as the score is 30-29. So the Excavators are showing to be resilient, at least within this game. But, of course, they still need to be a little bit more consistent here when it comes to these mid-range and three-point shots, because that has been a little bit of a struggle here as they do want to control, as Brandon is back in the game, going for that mid-ranger, but it's not going to be good.
And I mean, their defense is starting to clamp down, but I'm going to be interested to see once all the starters are back on the floor how that goes. Is obviously Brandon now back in, matched up against Volkov.
Oh,
second foul. So Marcus, you were talking about foul control. You know,
yeah, that one was not something that, like, while I understand wanting to be able to, like, we all know Brandon's a very, like, physical player. Like, he's not gonna be willing to try and bring down his physicality, but you know, it's kind of the tale of two different styles here. Like, I do think that Nikolai Volkov is very similar to what he was going up against in the finals, with a lot of athletic players kind of using their athleticism to kind of slide right past him, and you know, refs being a little bit more like whistle happy when it comes to that kind of size difference between the two. And he needs to be a little bit more mindful of that, you know, going into these games. But with that being his second personal, it's not something to be super, super worried about, but something to keep on the radar, as we do get to see a quick layup not being good there as Nikolai trying to clean things up, but it's not going to be good there as Brendan does get the rebound.
Yeah, I think teams are going to keep trying to attack the young Bear. Obviously, they saw in the finals one of the ways they can. Best way to get him out of the game is to get him fouled out, but only so many things, and that's why there, Brandon attacking the post off the screen, able to get around Nikolai and able to dunk it down.
Yep, the big polar bear just doing polar bear things, going in for that easy dunk there, as Edmonton having to try to find a way to quiet the noise down as the crowd is getting a little bit more rowdy this time. And right now we do get to see Fiorella going out and lay it up and in.
And that was great moves from Lopez, a bit of a spin move and a drive to the basket, broke away from 2 defenders there to get that open lane. I think she was a little surprised how open she was in fact down there in the post.
Yep, and Fenton not making the basket there, so now Edmonton has a chance to possibly tie this game or possibly lead with a 3. As right now we get to see a quick block there. And another tough shot being up there, but it's not going to be good. This time Robbins, she's been able to take control of the paint a little bit as both bigs for Vegas is on the floor here, and they're able to go ahead and extend the lead back up to 4.
And Murphy, great little lay-in down the post. Accurate pass coming in from Ferdinand to get the ball down low. And
and now we get
blocking this time. Okay,
right there getting called with the blocking foul there. That could have gone either way. That was a very physical interaction, but it will stay the Excavators' ball as Edmonton is looking to possibly get this back within a single possession. Ralston gets the screen, but it's getting clamped down and loses the ball there to Robbins, and Robbins able to take it over to O'Reilly. O'Reilly, the rookie, handing over to Murphy. Murphy laying over to Robbins. Robbins laying up, and it's good. And Miyuki will be called for the first personal. And that is a very difficult player to go up against, but Robbins does not get the 3-point play.
Yeah, it's a lot to ask of the Lynx to, guard Robbins like that in the post. But we're seeing both teams make some subs, get their bench back in to round out this first half.
Yeah, and that's something to look at as Fenton going for the mid-ranger, and it's going to be all day, every day. As with that, Las Vegas has skyrocketed their lead up to 8 with 41-33. Edmonton has to find a way to take control of this game again.
Well, they're coming away with too many empty possessions on their end. I mean, their defense, I'm not going to say it is starting to crumble. It's just they're not keeping pace on offense at all, as we see Lee dragging the fadeaway is good off the glass.
Yeah, that's another player we're going to probably have to look into as for Lee to try to take control a little bit as he does get the basket here, and Edmonton really needs some kind of answer offensively.
I was going to say, you saw there down in the below 40% field goal percentages, Athios getting it in, and I think that's 10 points for the Blue Jay at this point. We'll have to see when we go to the half, but the bench right now for Vegas has been phenomenal, whereas Edmonton's bench has struggled just a little bit more than you'd like to see, as Lopez getting the open 3 look, has to hit those from the corner.
Yeah, she has been struggling so far in this game with the 3. That's a 1 for 6. That is just abysmal. You don't want to see that here if you're an Excavators fan, and you know that Vegas is going to take advantage of those all day as Robbins go ahead and clean it up, as their lead is in the double digits for the first time in this game, and they are in full control.
Well, and Bobby can feel that too. He calls timeout because of that.
Yep, 100%. They need to find a way to regroup here within these closing minutes, and everything has kind of went away from them as soon as Robin and Brandon had came in, and they just completely took over everything. And yeah, right now they need to find a way to clean things up.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at the Vegas starting 5, they are definitely a team that they are probably my number 1 or 2 of the West in terms of who I have winning the championship this year. They have now Brandon obviously in his second year. Oh, that was a tough shot.
Whoa.
Not going to be a 3 though. I was gonna say, you have the veteran Doyle. I want to see him step up. I want him to be more assertive this year. I think that is going to be the main factor of if they can make it back. Is I want to see Doyle show more of what he could do when he was in Hawaii. He's taken more of a step back in what he doesn't. He's not hungry to get to the basket every time. I think like he was younger.
Yeah, and
oh gosh, Robbins!
Oh, what a great block from Robbins! Oh my goodness,
double block there,
shoving it into all these players' faces. Right now, Vegas looking to continue to try that momentum as they hand it over to O'Reilly, and then Atheist trying to get into the paint. Man is not able to get the basket down as Dabrowski does get the rebound. So Edmonton does get a little bit of a break here as Miyuki got a wide open lane, but decides to go for the mid-range, and it's good.
Yeah, not a bad pull-up jumper there in transition, but you know, the defense, they have to start matching what Vegas is doing to them. There are so many blocks coming in on one side of the court, and the other side needs to pick it up now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, with the fact that like Las Vegas has really kind of shut the door a little bit within the paint, you would expect them offensive. Ooh, no! Lee with the backcourt violation. His paws were over the line here, so that's going to be an unforced turnover, and that's not what you want to see there for the third-year veteran.
Yeah, pleading with the ref, trying to argue his case, but it's like, no, I mean, I admit maybe sometimes the color of the line is a little hard to mix in with the logo, but it's, you know, they're keeping a good eye on that. That's why they have multiple refs. There's one back there just watching for that. Is Murphy going to pull up a three? No good, but Robbins, second chance, also not good. Clark, good defense there down against the Great Dane.
Yeah, right now, Edmonton still has a chance to probably cut this down to one possession. And right now, Miyuki trying to go into the paint, but goes for the mid-range again, and it's good once again. That is her spot there, so Edmonton now cutting the deficit down to 4, 45-41 with 1 minute left in the first half. All right, now get a quick screen from Robbins as Atheist trying to get into the paint and will be able to get it done. So right now, Atheist already 14 points coming off the bench and really showing his offensive prowess.
Well, I mean, that's a huge, I mean, just compared to Edmonton, you know, he's scored almost half of what Edmonton's starters have put up thus far.
Yeah, for sure. And right now, Atheist was thinking of possibly going to the paint, but backs it off a little bit, letting the play commence. Hands it over to Tariq. And right now, a quick pass over to Atheist. Atheist once again trying to get into the paint, but it's collapsed on him, and it will be a shot clock violation. Edmonton doing their best to keep Vegas contained there for that possession, and they do just that. But there's not a lot of time left on the first half clock, so they got to throw it up as Kincaid gets the screen. Pass it over to Clark. Clark going for a mid-ranger, and it's going to be in and out. And that's going to do it in the first half as the Excavators are up by 6, 47-41.
Yeah, I was going to say that, admittedly, they're not a great possession from Atheos. You know, I think he's feeling a little too hot right now, trying to do it all himself.
Right.
You know, sometimes you have to just be willing to back off and be like, okay, look, I'm going to give someone else the ball, not let the shot clock run out with the ball in my paw still.
Yeah, for sure. It's certainly one of those things where he wanted to kind of take control of the game a little bit, but as we do go ahead and dive into the stats here, as starter-wise, it's a little bit slow, but once we get into the bench, as we see with Atheist, with already 14 points, he's kind of been the main answer here for the wild cards.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's scoring, and it's not, yeah, there's no one for, you know, stepping up and leading the way, but, you know, everyone is shooting efficiently, whereas, you know, for the Edmonton side, Buckley putting up 8 points, 2 for 2 from beyond the arc. Definitely want to see him keep going. Cooper struggling here early, 1-0 of 3 thus far.
Yeah, and you can see the same for Lopez being like 2 for 7, if I recall correctly, with only 4 points, and that's kind of been the big concern here is a lot of the guards for the Excavators have been struggling mightily in this game, and they need to pick it up if they want to have a chance at winning this game and trying to steal one on the road.
Yeah, no doubt. And I mean, the bench has started to pick up too. Obviously, Ralsted, Kincaid getting some points on the floor, but field goal percentage is a bit too far down for Edmonton where I'd like to see it. And the defense, it's been because Vegas has been getting those steals and blocks, and they're shutting them down in the post.
Yep, that's basically what it is. I mean, Edmonton has really proven that they can be good defense. As we see another block there from Robbins going out into the stand here. It will still be Excavators' ball, but like that's not a great confidence booster as they once again have not a lot of time left on the shot clock, and we'll have to probably work our way around it because this is a lot of size for Vegas. That's why it's so difficult to score in the paint.
Yeah, and I'd like to see them keep going to the perimeter game. You have Lopez, Buckley, and Cooper. I know 2 of your 3 are not feeling too hot right now, but that doesn't mean you go away from the 3 ball just because of that. Buckley's feeling it. Keep going to Buckley.
Yeah, right now, decimated Lopez looking to maybe shoot here. She will, and it's gonna be good. And that's gonna be what we want to see here as Edmonton tries their best to stay into this game, is to try and spread out that defense, force them to try and guard that perimeter and respect it, so that way you can get back to your original playbook. But Vegas trying to continue on that onslaught in the paint as well, as Murphy is able to lay it up and in after the second chance opportunity. So right now Lopez does get the screen, trying to get into the paint once more, but is going for a tough shot. It's not going to be good there as Baylor does bring it home. And now Murphy heads over to Robin and slamming it down.
Yeah, the Great Dane showing off a little bit there, and I mean, great transition play. I mean, the one thing with Vegas is they're going to get scarier as the year goes, as we see Buckley. Oh, that was a great. I'm not going to argue that's the shot he needs to be taking right now.
Yeah,
But I was saying, Jean Ferdinand, he's coming in, and this is a new team for him as he's blocked with the ball sent out of bounds. He's going to develop a rapport with these players as the season goes along. So this team is just going to get better as the season goes.
Yes. And that's kind of the risk that they're going to have to take here for Edmonton, is like they're dealing with one of the most complete teams in the league right now. And with the fact that being able to try and find other ways to get your guards the chances that they need, is once again Edmonton is just doing whatever they want in the paint right now. It just seems like Edmonton is starting to get really tired on defense, and they're not being able to get any of the possessions that they're able to take advantage of to try and stay into this, as they are now at risk of being down double digits once again, as Lopez does not get the mid-range, but Xavier does get the cleanup and will take those second chance points as they are up. Well, they are down by 7.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they need to be attacking the paint a little bit more intelligently with Clark and Volkov. This great block there coming out from Xavier. I mean, they have speed. That's what they have advantage over, Brandon and Robbins to an extent. So utilize the speed. Stop trying to go with the big body versus skinny big body. One of them is going to come out on top when you're going for strength. Utilize your speed a little bit more.
Yeah, and right now Lopez will go on the line for 2 here, as she is able to make both of them. And the Wildcards will call a timeout here to try and discuss some things a little bit here. But I think this is more so just to try and calm things down a little bit, take a little bit of a break, as Edmonton has been able to climb back up a little bit, but Vegas is trying to find ways to continue to try and exploit them, as they are in full control.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, right now, Vegas doesn't seem to have any holes in their game at the moment.
No, not at all. And right now, Edmonton trying to do whatever they can to try and force things up in the paint after that ISO play, but it's not going to be good there, as Lopez is able to stop that one. So now Edmonton has a chance to possibly get this back down to a 1-possession game. But of course, they need to go ahead and plan accordingly. Cooper has been very quiet all night and said, he's over to Xavier. Back over to Cooper. Cooper for three, and it's going to be good. And could that be the shot that could get Zachary Cooper going and really change the way this game is being played?
Well, and again, you saw there that he passed the ball off and he needed to get the ball back to shoot off the ball. Is Murphy answering with one of his own right back?
Yeah, and that's going to be something to continue to watch here is if Zach does start waking up along the three-point line, and Xavier tries to lay it up, and it's going to be good. Drawing the foul against Robbins. That'll be her second personal as Xavier's going to go for that old-school three-point play. And we will see some substitutions as well. And Clark will be able to get that free throw, so Edmonton find themselves only down by 2 now. As we still see both of these teams really kind of duking out as we get a screen for Doyle. And Doyle trying to get into the paint, but gets swatted out into the stands. Some great defense there for the Excavators. And with only 9 seconds left on the shot clock, the Wildcards have to think of something fast as Doyle does get the screen, will get the pop, but it's not going to be good, but Brandon cleans it up.
Yeah, soft touch there coming in from the Polar Bear, not dunking it down, just tapping it back in. Good. And you saw how he got in position there as soon as the shot went up. He knew where he was going, and not the double clutch there, not able to get a block going. As you see, the field goal percentage is finally turning around for Edmonton, shooting 50% this quarter after struggling in the second.
Yeah, it seems like Edmonton is finally making those adjustments being made. And once again, as you said earlier in this game, the big thing when it comes to attacking the basket is using that athleticism against Brandon especially. And we saw a good example of that here. But that last shot is not going to be good there as Buckley does get the rebound. And passes it over to Zachary.
I don't know if you saw, but it looked like they were double teaming Brandon, boxing out there as Nikolai was keeping him locked down so that Baxter could get that rebound. And Cooper got taken himself, not able to.
But Nikolai is able to clean things up there with a couple of, and then now with that, the game is tied, and the Excavators going for a 14-5 run here.
I'm shocked Vegas hasn't called timeout, honestly. I mean, it's not even that they're starting to get shut down on defense here. As another block coming in from Xavier. Brandon will clean it up, though.
Yeah, Brandon doing a good cleanup as they do take the lead back up to 2, as now we have 10 lead changes for ties, as Excavators actually going to call timeout here.
Yeah, right now they're struggling to completely shut out Brandon down low in the post. I'm sure the coach wants to, Bobby obviously wants to emphasize, boxing out down low in the post. That's twice now he's watched Brandon come down with a board and put it right back up for an easy bucket. I mean, he is the majority of the scoring on this run right now. That Vegas has been trying not to get away with them.
Yeah, I mean, you got to really thank Brandon here trying to make sure that Edmonton doesn't go absolutely crazy here. But as you can see, I think that one of the big things that they have to do when it comes to containing him is make sure to get probably more bigger bodies. Dabrowski is able to go ahead and lay it up and in.
That was a beautiful play from Dabrowski.
Yeah, very good pass over to Dabrowski. Tried to, wrap around the big polar bear.
Well, you saw there, Brandon's having to attack from behind. He's having to be cautious, not drawing contact and getting a foul. It's one thing when he's in front of you. It's another thing when he's behind you. And, Nikolai got to get called. He is going to at least stop the shot from going up, but he'll send Fernand to the line for 2.
Yeah, I mean, he'll take those all day, every day. That's his first personal of the game. We're in the third quarter. I don't mind fouling right then and there, especially with how clean of a game that Nikolai has played, but it didn't seem to matter as both free throws do go down. And now Edmonton is looking to probably tie things back up again, and they will do just that as Nikolai Volkov wide open within the paint, ducking it down.
And field goal percentage is finally evening out a little bit there. Vegas is starting. I'm not going to call it even cold because they're still shooting 46%, but, they're starting to fall behind, honestly. That's a tough shot, but again, Baylor! 3 times in a row for him. His last 3 baskets have been cleanup efforts. Call him the janitor at this point.
Basically, at this point, it's really becoming apparent that Edmonton's had a very tough time trying to box him out, and he's doing just that, making it look easy on the cleanup crew. But right now, Fenton ends up grabbing the ball there, taking the steal, and now Vegas has a chance to extend this lead once again as Roy Greer with the rock, possibly looking for a screen. He will get that, but instead has it over to Fenton. Fenton hands it over to Fletcher. Fletcher in the paint, cleaning it up, making it look easy. Vegas up by 4. And now Lee hands it over to Ralston. Ralston trying to lay it up, but blocked there by Brandon.
Ooh, shutting it down in a fast break. And Jean Ferdinand elevates.
Jean Ferdinand with the quick slam as Vegas up by 6. And now Vegas has complete control once again after the run that Edmonton has. They are now down by a little bit of a margin. We'll see what Edmonton does to try to clean things up as Lee does get the screen, looking to go into the paint. Have to go for a tough fadeaway, but it's not going to be good there. As some great defense there for Vegas. John with the rebound. And now Vegas, we're going to try to extend it. Brandon is in the paint. We'll dish it back out to Brandon with a rare 3, and it rattles home. Oh my goodness.
I think someone needs to call a timeout because I think the polar bear might be on fire right now. I mean, that's a heat check if I've ever seen one, pulling back for a 3 in that moment.
Brandon Baylor is really feeling himself right now tonight as Edmonton is now looking down by 9 points there, 71-62, as we get Nikolai able to try and clean things up, trying to at least stop the bleeding a little bit. But they got to do a lot more than that to try and get back into this one, as the Wildcards will call a timeout. And they're probably going to give the big polar bear a break, and he's feeling himself right now. Oh, my goodness.
Well, I was going to say, almost at that point, as a coach, do you go, okay, you made the shot, but don't do that again? Because it wasn't even like the shot clock was the biggest issue at that moment. He just was feeling it.
He's like, oh my God.
If you make a 3 because the shot clock's about to expire, okay, fine. But if you're taking the 3 just because you want to take a 3, that's a little,
I mean, like, he's young. He's young and cocky. That's just the way it goes. So, but hey, it did work out for Las Vegas, because now they are up by 9 once again, and they are just really doing very good offensively so far into this stretch, as they have exploded so far. We're being close to a double-digit lead, as I believe they're now on like an 11-2 run at this point.
There's definitely been a big run. Oh, a beautiful behind-the-back pass from Lee to Nikolai down low in the post.
Yeah, those two have been playing very long, because I believe Lee was we're starting for a little bit for the Excavators last year, but this time coming off the bench. So those two have been doing very well working together, but they're going to do more than just that. As we get to see a quick pass for Atheist. Atheist trying to clean up his own miss, but it's not going to be good this time. So Edmonton trying to do what they can to get back into this, make this more manageable, and they will do just that with a bit of a finger roll.
Well, back-to-back, quick buckets have quieted the crowd. And reach and foul going to get called in. I mean, again, trying to shut down the Blue Jay down low in the post. It's not going to be any free throw attempts. They'll have to reset. 14 seconds for them.
Yeah, right now, Pullman trying to bring it in for the Wildcards. We'll pass it up to Fenton. Fenton looking idly by, trying to find somebody, as right now a lot of passing along the perimeter, as Atheist will have it. Atheist going for 3, but it's going to be in and out, as Miyuki does get the rebound. And right now Edmonton, even with all the craziness that's been going on, they still have a good shot of trying to take control of this, as Miyuki going tit for tat, going into the paint and laying it in.
To say the rookie coming in a bit clutch now. I think that's her 6th or 8th point. You know, coming off the bench, getting good baskets to fall when Edmonton needs them most. But oh, look at that screen, Nikolai
Ooh!
able to get there though, able to catch up to Fenton.
Yeah, that's one thing you gotta appreciate for the veteran Nikolai Volkov. He is very athletic, and even though for most times a lot of players are not able to catch up, that time Nikolai is able to get pushed through as we get a quick mid-ranger, and Edmonton only down by 1.
I mean,
man, a lot of emotions going on.
I was gonna say, you know, oh, Fenton, yep, can stretch it from beyond the arc, but no, they're gonna say pause inside the line, only calling for 2. Again, the fact that Edmonton has gone down by double digits multiple times and has pulled it back is definitely a good showing from them. And Vegas is just, they can't find the killing blow. You know, I would have thought, oh, Edmonton.
Oh my goodness. Okay, that was cocky. I'm not even. that was cocky as heck. But
I mean,
with that alley-oop dunk.
Brandon's on the bench right now, so maybe they're feeling like they can go for something like that.
I mean, why not? As Collins going for 3, it's going to be in and out. So at the end of the 3rd quarter, Vegas find themselves only up by 1 this time as Edmonton finds a way to climb back 75-74.
Oh, that was a bit of a quarter. I could definitely say that the fact that, you know, we saw a big lead get built, and then to have it wiped away to where Vegas is coming into this 4th quarter down by a point. Or sorry, no, Vegas is only up by 1 point.
Yes, they're only up by a point here, and it really kind of goes to show the resiliency that the Excavators have within this game, trying to go ahead and get out of this funk within this past stretch, as they are also looking for their first road win, as we mentioned prior to this game starting, and they don't want to give it up without a fight, as we get to see a quick fadeaway. Not going to be good for Avians, but Robbins cleaning it up once again as she's able to bring that lead back up to 3.
Yeah, and that's on Clark not boxing out. He lost track of Robbins, and Robbins was able to just slip by and get that easy second chance bucket. I mean, I want to say at the end of the game what the stats were in terms of second chance opportunities, but Kincaid not able to get a bucket to fall.
Yeah, no, you got to go ahead and get those baskets, because this is crunch time now. As we get a nice block there, and Greg Creer trying to clean these up, but no, Robbins once again giving 3rd, 4th opportunities here for Vegas, and they're able to take advantage once again as Vegas up by 5, and Edmonton needs to do a much better job trying to box players out on defense, because these 2nd, 3rd opportunities is what's keeping them from being able to at least take control of this game. And we get a quick foul there on Doyle, so Buckley will go on the line for 2.
And it's been those chance opportunities from the free throw line that have definitely kept Edmonton in this game thus far, even though they haven't really been able to target any one player with putting them in foul trouble just yet.
No, but I think that being able to have the ability to draw the foul and get these opportunities is going to be very key in games like these, because on the road, it's already going to be difficult as heck with everyone being against you, right? So having that chance, as Doyle possibly looking to go ahead and get things going, as Robbins with the rock. Bend it over to Brandon. Brandon trying to use his much bigger size there for the opportunity to lay it up and in against Lauderell. And we'll be doing good here, as Brandon already 15 points tonight, having a solo night so far.
On the other end, going to answer with a nice spin move. Good pull up from Buckley. Buckley's definitely been, 5 of 9, staying in at least in stride with Baylor. Baylor's shooting much more efficiently thus far tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot easier for you to do that as a big, only utilizing the paint. And speaking of, Brandon not able to get it down, but Robbins able to draw the foul against Murphy. So even though the second...
No. Murphy. Murphy behind the back getting called, so they're giving it's a turnover.
Oh, snap. Okay.
Wrong team, Marcus. Murphy's
wrong
on Vegas.
Team, yes. Well, I mean, Edmonton being able to force a turnover here with that foul. So, and of course, as I say that,
backcourt violation.
Yeah. So Edmonton not being able to take advantage of that with them doing an unforced error of their own, and now Vegas to have a chance to reset this as Atheist pulling it back a little bit, handed it over to Brandon. Brandon has a long way to go into the paint, but instead hands it over to Groy Creer. Groy Creer going for three, and John not able to get it down. But once again, Robbins is there to clean everything up and extend that lead. Like, that has been the big problem, is not being able to find ways to box out these players. And another unforced turnover from Fiorella. And I think at this point, okay, I'm very surprised that they're keeping Fiorella in this game, because she has been making some very key mistakes in crunch time.
Yeah, I mean, the game is starting to... crunch time. 9 minutes left. You can't be walking away with empty possessions off of losing track of where you are on the floor.
Yep, and now Brandon laying it up and in this time as he's able to once again extend this lead. And oh my God, he's being so cocky right now.
Well, I mean, Dabrowski not able to shut him down, unfortunately. The Crested Newt not, is doing the best he can down low in the post, but it's an unfortunate matchup for him coming in as a rookie still to try and have to, you're the 37th overall pick in the draft, and you're facing down one of the top picks from last year.
Yeah, it definitely is the case. Fiorella going with the 10th point, but you can put an asterisk next to that one with seeing her field goal percentage.
Yeah.
But Edmonton, she will be able to make the 2 free throws, as she is perfect so far.
From the free throw line.
Yeah, from the free throw. Perfect the free throw, not much anywhere else. But right now, Edmonton does cut the deficit down to 5, but that might change here with Doyle draining it down with the 3, making it drip.
I mean, that's the aggression I want to see from him. Having the willingness to take, that difficult shot, and Bobby going to call timeout. Down by 8, they've come back multiple times from such deficits. I have a feeling he might be wanting to sub in all his starters just to, get the best floor out there he can right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Vegas is probably going to do the same thing, trying to get some rest from the bench. But Brandon is still out there. But right now, the Excavators need to go ahead and have that urgency a little bit here. As while there is plenty of time left in this game, it can get ugly really fast if they're not careful. As Dabrowski hands it over to Cooper. Cooper for 3, and it's good. Gonna need a lot of those to really kind of quiet down this crowd, as Edmonton once again down by 5. But here comes Brandon. Brandon going for a mid-range, and it rattles home. Brandon's having the night of his life so far, as he's already with 19 points, possibly threatening 20 points here. As we get an illegal screen there, so that'll be a turnover for the Excavators. And Vegas possibly has a chance to get it back into double digits with a 3, or at least threaten to do so with a 2.
I mean, Doyle just hit one, so don't be surprised. He's calling for the screen. He wants it. Oh, just can't pull it down. It's not
going to be good. And Xavier Clark able to go ahead and get that rebound. Clark's been struggling against Robbins, and right now another block there for Brandon. He tries to dive in to save it, but it ends up not being the case, so it will stay on the Excavators. But Brandon doing everything right now on both defensively and offensively.
Well, I mean, you can't discount Robin's contributions in the post. She has been said her name so many times with the second chance opportunities, as Cooper trying to do another off the dribble shot, not able to convert. Doyle, had a bit of a lane, but decided to step back. He's still going to take it over the defense.
Oh my God.
Him over. That's the aggressive Doyle I want to see.
Yeah, putting Buckley on skates after that possession. And with that, Vegas up by 9 is just doing everything they can right now in this quarter. And right now, Fiorella hands it over to Clark. Clark not in a very comfortable position, does hand it out. And now Fiorella decides to go for 3 and gets fouled there by John Ferdinand. And so Lopez will go on the line.
Hey, she's perfect from the line, so this is the best place to put her right now if you're Edmonton.
Yep, It will be 2, but she misses the second one.
Oh.
She misses the second one, and so Doyle continuing on his onslaught here, but it's not going to be good this time as Cooper does get the rebound. Fiorella looking to go into the paint. Will try to get it off, but it's not going to be good. No call for foul. And now Warren trying to go tit for tat. Goes up for a tough shot. No good, but Robbins again with another cleanup, but it gets blocked there by Xavier. Xavier with the hustle, making sure that she's not going to get another second chance opportunity. And oh my goodness, Roy Greer takes the ball, but Edmonton does get it back. Fresh 24, but it will be blocked out of bounds by Robbins as Edmonton will still have the possession. My goodness, I need a breather.
I mean, just chaos. Nothing but chaos. And I'm sure the players are also glad to have a second to catch their breath. You know, just make a bucket, please, at this point. Someone.
Somebody, anybody, please.
We're getting blocks. We're getting second chance opportunities.
And right now, Lopez, almost loses the ball there. Instead, hands it over to Nikolai Volkov, who is right now going one-on-one against Brandon, but instead passes over to Cooper. Cooper going for 3, and it goes down. And right now, watch out. Cooper may be waking up here.
Well, we said that earlier when he hit
will
that.
call timeout.
Yeah, he hit a 3 earlier, and I was like, okay, we're finally going to get going. But you know, it's a bit of a slow start still, but down by 5 with 5 minutes and a half left to go. I mean, it's not... Vegas can't rest here. They don't have enough of a lead, even though, you know, they're going to point out how well Baylor's been doing, but still.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's going to be one of those situations where if Edmonton finds a way to get those important stops to really kind of chance to get, because they've only led a couple of times this game and not for very long. And we see a tip out there. It will stay on Wildcard's bar, but only 14 seconds left of the shot clock. So imagine this being more of a non-shooting foul at this point, but still with a possession. Right now, Robbins looking for somebody. We'll head over to Brandon. Brandon going deep down into the 3-point line, but instead heads over to Murphy. Murphy getting guarded well here as Tyreek has to pull it back. Has to do something with it. Going for a tough long 2, but it's good. So yeah, right now, both teams doing a very close field goal percentage-wise, but you got to look at those attempts. Las Vegas already over 10 attempts compared to what the Excavators have done. And right now, Nikolai trying to open it, but does get his own miss. It ducks it down on the polar bear. Oh my goodness.
I don't think Brandon was expecting that either. The ball kind of went straight back to the Wolf's paws and was able to dunk it down over the bear. And I think Brandon just knew not to try and go for the block or else he'd get... Oh, double block!
Another block. And then, Nikolai really trying to come into his own right now within the paint, both offensively and defensively. Cooper almost losing the ball there, but instead still has it. Going for the long 2, and it's going to be good. Cooper waking up now as we are looking that he finally hits his 11th point of the game. Majority of these points are coming from this quarter alone. And with that, Edmonton back in this one. All right, now Murphy going tit for tat. Instead hands it over to Brandon. Brandon getting guarded well by Nikolai and going right to him. Brandon trying to clean things up, but will draw the foul against him. So Brandon will go on the line for 2. First one not going to be good here. So this is a good player to go up to foul against as to try and at least possibly keep it a 1 possession game or just be down by 4. And that is going to be the case here as Brandon now giving the lead up to 4 for Vegas. We'll see if the Excavators continue this onslaught as Nikolai, who has been a little bit of a hot hand, will draw the foul himself against Baylor.
Well, they went right back down to the post to challenge Brandon after Brandon gets the basket on his end. So, you know, I don't hate it. I mean, 3rd foul, plenty of time. No worries about that. He can still be aggressive down low in the post, but Vegas, they cannot walk away with any empty possessions right now, and they brought in the hot fur off the bench, Blue Jay, Atheos.
Yeah, it said this is over to Robbins. Robbins, who is having a pretty hot game herself, not able to get it down this time. So now Edmonton has a chance to possibly tie it or take the lead outright as Zachary one of the big leaders here for Edmonton, not able to get it done. And now here comes Tyreek. Murphy hands it over to Robbins. Both teams trying to find some kind of answer here, and we get a blocking foul against Fiorella, so Atheist will be no, they won't go on the line for 2, so they will be able to go ahead and still be their possession with 14 seconds left on the shot clock. And now we see a dish over to Brandon. Brandon going across the court to Doyle.
A dangerous pass there.
Yeah, very dangerous, but Buckley is able to go ahead and rip it out. And now Zachary going down into the paint and lay it up and in, and Edmonton ties it up 95 apiece. Vegas has no choice but to call for a timeout. Whoo, this game's getting really, really close. It's getting really dicey. This is like one of those like games where it might come down to one shot.
Well, and I don't love the timeout there from Vegas. You know, they only had 2 left. Now they have 1. And there's 3 minutes left to go in this game. You always want to save that last timeout in case you need it to get up the court on the final possession. So now, realistically, they cannot afford to call a timeout the rest of the game, even though Robbins, great play design, gets her open for an easy layup. Didn't even have to bounce the ball once to lay it in.
Nope, not at all. And you are right. I think it's because of the confidence that Vegas has had being able to go on these multiple runs. So they're hoping that they would get into a run here as Nikolai trying to go for a double clutch and not going to be good, but Volkov able to get the pickup, but Brandon blocking it, and it will still be Excavator's ball with only 10 seconds left on the shot clock. But the Polar Bear really having a wide grin after that defensive effort.
Yeah, it was a good block from him, sending not only the first time, but Nikolai somehow able to pull it down around the Bear. Like I said, I feel like they're going to go for a bit more of a mid-range shot here off that inbound.
They may have to. Yeah, and Buckley actually going down to the paint, but Brandon blocking it once again. The third block within this possession, and Edmonton comes up empty. And right now, Tyreek laying it up and in, and now Edmonton is kind of in a little bit of a panic mode. There's only 2 minutes left. They're down by 4. They need to these next couple of baskets, and we get another foul on Fiorella Lopez, an illegal screen, and that's going to be another unforced turnover by Fiorella.
Yeah, very tough game for her coming, all over the court, struggling a bit from getting the offensive side, but also, giving up possessions with the fouls and the stepping out of bounds.
Yeah, for sure. And now Warren headed over to Brandon. Brandon tries to go for the jumper, but it is going to be good there for Brandon. And again, 22 points tonight as Vegas up by 6. And if Edmonton's not going to be able to get a score here, that might be it.
They need a 3, and the Bear goes down. Nikolai broke the Bear's legs.
Oh my goodness! Hopefully it wasn't an earthquake here in Vegas after that fall. But right now, Brandon looking to probably try and get right back at him as Nikolai able to go ahead and stop him and get the rebound. Cooper looking to try to get into the paint, but instead this is over to Fiorella. Fiorella could change everything here if she makes a shot, but instead passes over to Nikolai. Nikolai is able to get it down. Brandon versus Nikolai has been the main focal point so far in the late stages of this quarter, as Edmonton is now only down by 2.
Yeah, you almost wonder if Brandon, they're playing through him, but is his ego getting in the way right now as he's trying to do it himself?
Yeah, he does give it up to Murphy here, knowing that Nikolai has got him locked up so far. Tyreek going for a tough 3, and it's in and out. Robbins able to clean things up, but she's not able to get it up. Another block happens.
I think Marcus got broken there in the last possession.
Yeah, but oh my God, Nikolai loses the ball, but Buckley gets it. Cooper with under almost 50 seconds left in the quarter, going down to the paint, but it's no good, and that might do it. Quick foul there for Atheist. And a timeout from Vegas. Very interesting timeout call. as they are looking to possibly finish this up here. No teams in the bonus right now, so they'll probably just call timeout just to get it to their end.
Well, I think they want to make sure they draw up the inbound play. They do not want to see this ball lost. And yeah, they're going to send them to the line for 2. Blue Jay, no good on the first.
Oh, no.
Edmonton has a
goodness.
shot here. All they have to do, they're going to call timeout, obviously.
Yes.
Are they going to go for the 3? You have to assume, and if they do,
Yes.
is it Cooper or Buckley that's going to take it?
Really, I have to say Cooper. Cooper has been the hotter one as of late beyond the arc. Yes, Baxter has also made a couple of threes in this game, but that was more so in the first half, not this half. So I would imagine the hotter paw in this situation has to be Cooper. Buckley is going to be the one to do the inbound.
Doesn't mean they're not going to give it back to him, but no, Cooper.
Oh, they got him to Cooper. Cooper 3, but it's not going to be good, and that's going to do it.
Yeah.
Las Vegas escapes. As Volkov does call in for the foul, as Atheist will make the first one. And the second one is going to be good. You're not going to expect him to do that twice in a row, and Excavators will have to call a timeout. But that is probably going to do it.
I think this game is far closer than Vegas wanted it to ever be. They got away with one there. Cooper was open on that inbound, and he had... I would say that was going to go in more likely than not, and it just happened to not go in. They're going to do the same inbound play. Defense a little bit more prepared. Not able to convert. Nikolai right back to Cooper. Not enough time to even take the shot.
Yep.
5-point win for Vegas, but that was, I think, a little bit closer than anyone wanted. That was...
Yeah,
12 blocks between Baylor and Robbins.
Oh my God. That is absolutely insane.
For the game to be that close, because I can already tell you on the other end, I would be shocked if we see more than 5 blocks combined between Nikolai and Xavier. I think they barely got 5 blocks combined by the end of the game.
Yeah, no, it was a huge block party for the wild cards, and that's not honestly surprising because both of them have so much size in Robbins and Brandon. So it really becomes into those situations of what they can really do to try and clean those up. So I will say really, really good effort, especially for Nikolai. 20 points, 15 rebounds. He had himself a game. And Xavier Clark also trying to do very well as well with 11 points and 5 blocks on his own too. So it's not like that, like both bigs played very, very well. It's just like they're dealing with probably the best front court in the entire league, probably. Like I think it's pretty safe to say of how well both Robbins and Brandon played that game. But you got to give Edmonton credit where credit is due. They will not be able to get the win this time, but they're trying their best to go and get that first road win. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, I will take it back. I apologize. Xavier did get 5 blocks. He got a couple of those at the end to really push it up to the limit. But for the longest time, it was the Brandon Robbins, and obviously you saw St. Martin with 3 blocks of his own. It was a very heavy favoring one way in terms of the stats that were being put up. And I mean, you look at the total for the game. Vegas didn't have to do any threes really. They took 10 threes. They only hit 3 of them. That is unusual for them given the 3-point prowess they have. But every stat besides the number of free throws and 3-point percentage went their way.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you think it's mainly because the fact that like Brandon wanted this to be a front court style of play, just to one up his old man.
I don't know, but I mean, yeah, I'm gonna say looking at the stats, this game was closer than the stats says it should be. Well, I have not seen a team lead in every statistical category and only win by 5.
I mean, that goes into the resiliency that Edmonton has overall, right? Because as you said, like with the fact that a team has like statistically dominated in every sense of fashion and still only losing by 5, and there were plenty of points within this game that the Excavators were down by double digits, but they found ways to climb back. And I think it has to tie into the free throw attempts as well, just being able to draw fouls, trying to get onto the line to to be able to get those that way, and that shows how important free throws are at the end of it as well.
I just want to point one stat out to you.
Mhm.
26 offensive rebounds.
Yeah.
They almost had more offensive rebounds than defensive rebounds this game. And
Mm.
that's not to say, because Edmonton had 18 offensive rebounds. There were over 40 offensive rebounds this game. Both teams. Someone needs to work on a box out drill. I think both teams are going to be having box out drills for the next couple practices, and I'm sure Bobby
Yeah.
hopefully doesn't have an aneurysm looking at that when he sees that stat line at the end of the day.
Yeah. I mean, I think it really kinda goes to show that, a lot that both teams really wanted to go ahead and really work on, like, front court offense more so than front court defense, but, I mean, I think it's just because of the clash of styles too between the 2 sets of bigs as well. As we know with Edmonton being more on the athletic side than, like, physical side compared to
Mhm.
what Vegas has done. So I think, like, with both sides not really encountering the other as much as you would expect, I think that's kind of, like, why we see that kinda stat between both those teams.
Well, and I'm gonna one last oddity I'm gonna point out. Only 18 and 14 second chance points, despite all those offensive rebounds, despite all those offensive second chance opportunities. They ended up having to have like third or fourth chances to make a single bucket.
That
So
I mean, even though offensive rebounds, at least the both sides are still on and on defense, like, they still give that effort. It's just that they need to go ahead and collect so they can go ahead and change possessions, but, um, in any case, I do think that, like, this was a very entertaining game. Obviously, Edmonton is still this was a little bit of a trap game, it seemed like, with how Vegas has been playing, but they still roll on. Um, and meanwhile, Edmonton still trying to find that first win on the road, still having a very not the great start to a season as you would hope, but there's still some things they can learn and grow from as the season continues.
again, Vegas looking like they're ready to be playing in the finals already.
Mhm.
The barn burner that they've had of a start of the season. The question will be, can they maintain this kind of play? After 80 games.
Yes, that is certainly the case, but I think that's pretty much all we have time for here at this Sports Den. It has been a pleasure getting a chance to see both of these teams duke it out. But we're gonna end this off here as Vegas does get the dub here, and we'll see you guys next time.
Have a good night, everyone. See you next time.